So what are the steps to becoming a service advisor?
Steps to becoming a service advisor from where are we talking? Are we talking high school level, or are we talking you've been onboarded as a service advisor?
Let's start with high school level and then go from...
High school level is a great starting point from it, especially with kids not really sure which way to go. Service advising is something that in the future, can it be replaced with AI? Yes, to an extent, but you still need that client interaction. What helps in auto shops is really the personalization that you're able to have with somebody. But being a service advisor, you truly don't need to go to college. This is something, blue collar that you can, I would say it's a mix of blue collar and white collar, that you can just truly go into the industry without skills and be taught. If you're starting at the right shop, that is. What I would do first is truly look at myself in the mirror and see, can I sell anything? Can I actually talk to someone? And is my mind in the spot that I just want to sell? I want to be a car salesman and I just want to be done with the process, or do I actually care about the interaction with someone? Do I care about what they're doing in the future? Do I care about what their kids are doing? Where you want to go?
Gotcha. So would you say you want to be more of a people person as a service advisor?
100%. Yeah. I think you would really struggle if you are an introvert being a service advisor. Service advisors, I bet if I took a tally on it, make around 200 to 250 small decisions in a day. It's not just a job where you sit there, you answer the phone, you schedule appointments, that's it. It's truly a decision-based job between managing the technicians that you're with to being the best client advisor that you can be.
Gotcha.
So
let's say you're coming in, you're down a different career path and you're coming into wanting to be a service advisor. How would you go through that process?
Well, there's a lot of different training that is out there, from looking it up on YouTube, TikTok. You can find a lot of things about service advising, the good and the bad for it. Something to learn about whether you like it or not is if you started in a customer service aspect. Were you working at a bar? Were you working at a restaurant? If you're coming from one of those fields, I think you'll have a lot easier time of getting into the automotive industry. If you're coming from a dealer and you're headed independent, yes, you have a leg up because you understand what the job is, but in the same aspect, you don't. When you're in the dealer world versus the independent world is so much more client focused. We want to take care of them as a whole, take care of all their vehicles. We don't want to take care of just their Ford or just their Honda or their Lexus. We want to take care of all of their vehicles, especially being at a shop that we work on all makes and models here. So we care about them entirety and really making the most out of their investment. So coming into here, some of the different training that you can do, like I said, YouTube and TikTok. But otherwise, there's like the Chris Collins Service Advisor course. That's something you can look into. There's Sales Fix through ShopFix. There's Transformers, there's ATI. There's so many different coaching companies out there to actually help build your service advisor to learn how to best do their job.
All right, so now what are some skills that a service advisor would need to make a living in this industry?
To survive and thrive, they would need to be a huge active listener. Understanding that you have 2 ears and one mouth and use them appropriately, I think is one of the biggest things that a service advisor can necessarily be taught. Listen to what the customer is coming in for, not just only their concern, but what they use the vehicle for. Is this their daughter's vehicle who is graduating high school this year and then she's moving out to Colorado? Is this their mother's vehicle? Was this, any of these different kinds of things help you build the relationship with the client? Or maybe they tell you they're getting rid of the car in 6 months. And you can be able to figure out a path of what is going to be best for them, because the same path isn't for everyone. Every vehicle is different, as well as every, maintenance path and everything that you want to take on that. So listening would be number one for being a service advisor. You need to be able to multitask. You could be working on Jim's order right here, ordering parts, and then all of a sudden Sally walks in, and then you obviously have to, be your best communication and service skills of being able to take care of Sally because she's right into you, and then you need to hop back to gym, but just wait, the phone was ringing, so I need to answer the phone when that's coming in, and then technician B is coming on in because, hey, they got the wrong parts, technician C saying, hey, where are my brakes at? All of these different things happen that you have to be able to multitask and not get stressed out, not get overwhelmed, and realize that this is just part of every single day. Which is also really great because no day is the same when you're a service advisor. You can, especially when you're a service advisor at an independent shop that works on all makes and models, you can see everything under the sun from, BMW oil leaks to, we're doing alignments over here to doing diesel work over here. There's just a lot of things, that they can do. Another big thing is understanding empathy, but yet professionalism. It is not the service advisor's car. It is not your car, it is the client's car. And understanding that you are the professional, the technician is the professional who looked at the vehicle, but the service advisor needs to advise the client in the best way, shape, or form. Another huge skill that a service advisor needs is staying calm. No one wants to get their car repaired. Everyone is mad when they get their car, something's wrong with it. You check engine light came on, oil light came on, it's making a screeching noise. Like, use your vehicle for everything. You've got to get to work, you have to get to school, you've got to take the kids to soccer practice, all these different things. I don't have time to go to that auto repair shop. And going there too, I don't want to have to not have my vehicle. How am I supposed to get around? So people are already on the defense when they're coming here because they've got their entire life going, and now this is an inconvenience in it. So understanding that, it's not you that's necessarily made the person mad, it's the circumstances within what they've got going on. And if you can help provide to get their vehicle done in a quick and timely manner, and explain things thoroughly to them, they're going to appreciate it so much more and start to understand, hey, this is just part of life. You got to roll with it. And the more that you joke around with someone, you understand what they've got going on. You become a better service advisor, and you don't take things to heart. The first time you have a client who's super mad at you, that yells at you, any of those different things, it usually sticks with you because you're like, oh man, what did I do wrong? What was any of this? But one of the things that I had heard before from Simon Sinek was that if you have a response above 5, it's not about you.
Like chopping one.
Good.
All right. So as a service advisor, how do you build long-term trust with repeat clients?
Long-term trust, it's truly built from that first interaction with the client. However the phone was answered or however they were greeted when they walked in, to the cleanliness of the shop, and continuing to have the same experience time and time again. All of those little things build into it, especially try not to have turnover at your shop. No matter what, people are going to leave, whether they move away, they get a different job, they get let go. All those different things are going to happen, but if you can have the longevity to have a service advisor stay in a location, it's truly going to help the interaction go on with it. If you can't though, making sure that you have the same process and procedures set up to ensure that no matter if you had John working here and Bill came into a position, that Bill will be able to take off at the same level that John was producing at because of the processes and procedures that you have in place. Everyone is to be talked to, especially here. All clients, you're supposed to communicate with them in a way that you would take care of your own vehicle for your mom, your sister, your wife. You want to treat everybody the exact same. I give an analogy to service advisors when I start training them that think of the coolest person like superstar, celebrity crush, wherever you think. You're like, all right, I'm thinking that Kim Kardashian is walking in and she's gonna get her car taken care of. How would you treat Kim Kardashian? Would you treat them any different than what you treat the next person who walks in the door? If so, it shows that there's a disconnect and something wrong because you want to be able to treat everybody the exact same. I don't care if you drive a Honda or if you drive a Porsche. Like, it doesn't matter to me. You drive a vehicle, you are using that vehicle to handle your lifestyle. And so whether you're driving a $20,000 vehicle or a $120,000 vehicle, we're going to take care of everybody the exact same way. And making sure that you do that as a service advisor completely builds that trust with the client that they're going to continue to keep coming back and back and back. Along with, if you're ever making a mistake, humans make mistakes. Parts fail. People forget to, make a phone call, any of those things. Being honest about it and be like, you know what? Hey, I'm really sorry. Like, I forgot to give you a call back. Thanks for getting me a ring. Or if a part failed, taking care of that client, getting them in a loaner car, getting them a ride back to work or home, taking care of it and getting them their vehicle back. We've got a warranty here, which I highly recommend of doing a longer warranty. We've got 336, but when you have a warranty, just take care of the client. They don't need to submit all of these different things. You should have everything in your system and be like, you know what, Bill, no problem. I saw you had that taken care of about 20,000 miles ago. We'll get that taken care of for you here today, and we'll get you a call when it's done. One of the things that I teach service advisors when they come in is that if a response is above a 5, it has nothing to do with you. I'd heard that from Simon Sinek, and it's true in the service advising world, customer service world, as well as at home, any of these things. If someone is yelling at you, if they're acting brash or any of those things, it's not because of you. There's truly something else that's going on in their life, something that happened. It's just, whether it's the needle in the haystack thing, it's just the straw that broke the camel's back. It's one of those things that if someone's really angry at you, there's something else going on. And so trying to just figure out, hey, what is that other thing that's going on? What are they stressed out about? Is it money? What are these things, and how can you help alleviate their concern and really just make things better for them? Yeah. That's just one of the huge things with them.
Why do shops need service advisors? Why can't, technicians come up and tell them what's wrong or something like that?
Technicians are known for being introverts. It is more of a rarity for me to have a technician around who isn't is extroverted. Does it happen? For sure it happens, but most of them, they like, solving puzzles solo. That's what they really love to do, because that's what a car is. It's just truly a puzzle. It's a game. You're taking out nuts and bolts and putting it back together. But service advisors are people. They enjoy talking to people. They enjoy helping others. They need to be able to be that liaison and be able to make, technician talk, which is sometimes like Chinese, and turn it into English and explain it to the customer in a way that they're going to understand and what's going to fit best for their lifestyle. The service advisor is so important because it's the face of your shop. A lot of shops, especially if you're doing over $1 million in sales, you're going to have a staff that it isn't going to be technicians that are seen ever, unless they're really taking in pictures, because they handle their job and back, where the service advisors handle the front office. They handle answering the phone, scheduling the appointments, all the client communications. And if you were to expect a technician to do that, how would the technician ever get the job done? So it's really just separating it so that everyone can focus in their lane and make sure that the client is truly treated the best, and that the vehicle is taken care of.
Do you see service advisors going away in the near future with the advancements in AI or anything else like that?
No, I don't see service advisors going away. I guess I should be clear on that. I see low performing service advisors going away, yes. People who think that they can just answer the phone, schedule appointments, and that's it. Will that be replaced? 100%. But service advisors who actually care about the client, care about their vehicles, and care about the shop that they work at, they're never going to be replaced. You can't get a robot to care to that level. People do business with other people. They do smiling faces, a kind demeanor, any of those different things. That's what people want to do business with. And in the heart of every small town, big town, is really the small businesses, and making sure that they're going to stay around for the longevity of it. AI is going to help the industry immensely so, from helping clean up orders to communication, brainstorming, selling, any of those different things. It's going to be a huge help to the industry. But no matter what, we're still going to need service advisors that are great at their job, and we're going to need more that come in. So if you're thinking of going down the service advising path, I would thoroughly recommend it. Being a good service advisor, you will easily make over 6 figures a year, and you don't need to have a college education for it.
How much?
You can probably do it.
Going on that. What should you expect to make as a service advisor?
In the beginning, as a service advisor, say that you are fresh, no experience, I would say that you're going to be an hourly position. People want to make sure that they can train you, that you have sales skills, and that you can be able to care about the client, care about the shop, and care about your technicians. So I would say you'd be starting at an hourly position. It might not be high by any means, but it's also not, it's not anything, you know, a minimum wage position by, you know, it's going to be good with that. But if you can show your worth and prove that, hey, you know, this is the career I want to do, I care about clients, I care about the shop, I care about my technicians, you will flourish in this industry. Whether you're working at a dealership or an auto repair shop or an independent shop, there's multiple different pay structures in which you can be paid. You can be paid commission based only, you can be paid salary, you can be paid salary plus commission. You can be paid based on, you know, the items that you sell. There's a whole bunch of different things. We work with a hybrid plan here, and it's on a team base so that no one is competing just for themselves. I want everything to be done as a team here. I'm a huge teamwork makes the dream work, and I preach it all the time. That I don't ever want there to be, hey, I want this because, you know, this client came in and they need a whole engine replacement, whereas this one just needs this just needs a tire chain or a tire rotation and alignment. Like, you want to be able to make sure that your staff is working in a way that is truly helping the client, and you're preaching it in a way that, hey, this, no matter what, the client is what matters. Without the clients, we have nothing. You know, we're not going to be able to serve anyone if there's no one here to serve.
Gotcha.
So,
can a bad service advisor bring down a shop? Like, if you have great mechanics, great auto technicians, can a bad service advisor bring down the whole shop?
100%. You know, it's in any industry. If you have one bad apple, if you have one, you know, black cloud, that's going to change your entire culture. From losing clients. So say you have a bad service advisor who seems that they're, you know, slimy, or they don't care. You just lost that client, because if they no longer trust coming here, because of, you know, the service advisor just gives off a bad vibe, you're losing that client. You're going to lose that client talking to their friends and their coworkers and be like, you know, I just really don't like it since, you know, so-and-so left. I just, you know, I don't like the new guy that came in. It's just, you know, having good people they're the front face of your shop. That's what you have to have. It's not just an easy job to go pick anyone up off the street and hire them. And you have to think about your culture. You want someone in who's going to fit. I always say you have to be a weirdo to work here, because you do. We're all weird here. But weird in a way that we truly, you know, it's so weird now. Like, nowadays, sometimes you have to be, you know, the fact that you care about your clients and you care about customer service, that makes you weird. It shouldn't be like that. But it is, you know, I can walk into probably at least 50% of the dealerships here and be treated poorly or or feel uncomfortable or any of those things. I never want anyone to feel that way when they come here. Reason why I'm so particular on who I hire here, and who's taking care of our clients.
Perfect.
Sweet. I think that did it.
Yeah, that was good.
I bet it does.